This is Daybreak Interactive, the segment of the program where we get to hear from our viewers with regards to certain topics that we'll be bringing on the floor of the program this morning. And like I said before the break, we'll be talking about LGBT rights with focus on the $150 billion Samoan agreement, which has caused reactions and counter-reactions over clauses 2.5 and clauses 29.5, which some people say has the promotion of LGBT rights, especially in Nigeria, since the Nigerian Minister of Budget signed the deal. So some clerics, rights activists, and civil society organizations in Nigeria are enraged following the federal government's decision to sign the contentious Samoa Agreement. The agreement allegedly contains clauses that force underdeveloped and developing nations to endorse the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender communities' demands for recognition as a condition for receiving financial and other assistance from advanced societies. This decision has sparked widespread outrage and condemnation from various quarters, with many Nigerians expressing their strong opposition to the agreement and its implied conditions. Yes, so this is what has been causing the contentions, the reactions, and the counter reactions, of course. We got some comments and some reactions from social media, and I'll be showing you some of them. However, before we do that, the phone lines will be displayed on your screen, so quickly call in, to share your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns about this development. Yes, the Nigerian government had also reacted to these reactions and counter reactions from Nigeria. They claimed that the agreement signed was in the interest of Nigeria. Now, the Daily Trust has that story, and I'll try to read it out quickly. It says the federal government has said that signing the Samoa Agreement was done in the interest of Nigeria. The agreement, which reportedly has some clauses that compel underdeveloped and developing nations to support the agitation by the LGBT community for recognition as a condition for getting financial and other support from advanced societies. Named after the Pacific island Samoa, where it was signed, the agreement gradually gaining traction despite opposition by many countries that cherish Islamic and Christianity values, in addition to the sensitivity of culture. Now, the issue has generated controversy, with some clerics and human rights activists criticizing the government over the agreement. In a statement, the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, gave further clarity to the issues on the agreement, and he said, open quote, Nigeria signed the agreement on Friday, 28 June 2024. This was done after extensive reviews and consultations by the Interministerial Committee convened by the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Federal Ministry of Justice. It was ensured that none of the 103 articles and provisions of the agreement contravenes the 1999 Constitution as amended, or the laws of Nigeria and the extant laws. Now, this is some of the responses that, the Federal Ministry of Information, via the Minister of Information, put out there.
Hello.
For clarity's sake. Good morning, welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling you from Kano.
All right, good morning from Kano. What's your name?
My name is Engineer Bashir Muhammad Abba.
All right, Ilya, can you please turn down the volume of your TV set so we have a seamless conversation?
Okay, sir. Okay, I have done.
Please go ahead, Ilya.
Okay, my take on this bill, I'm against this bill. Because in Nigeria, you cannot say Nigeria is a secular country. We have religion, Islam, and Christianity. All this religion is against all this LGBT. So if they collect that amount of money, one person in one day just took the money, and just 2-3 years they will release him from the prison. So I'm against this issue. This is my take.
All right. Thank you very much, Ilya, for the call there. Ilya, all the way from Kanu. He says he's against.
My name is Bashir Muhammad Abba, Engineer Bashir Muhammad Abba.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Bashir. Bashir says he is against this completely. Now, while we wait for other callers, perhaps we just take some of the responses on X. I start with this one, Abu Jabir Pen Abdul. He says the campaign against LGBTQ is a campaign against Satanism and immorality. Humans must live as humans and not otherwise. He got a comment from his statement, which is from engineer Ishaq Muhammad, who responded that it is deeply concerning that Nigeria has signed an LGBT agreement without the knowledge or consent of its citizens. This decision made behind closed doors undermines our democratic process and disregards the values held by many Nigerians. So there's another one by Bashir Ahmed, who was a former appointee of former President Muhammadu Buhari. Bashir says signing a mere deal cannot legalize LGBTQ, whatever relationships in Nigeria. In 2014, our National Assembly passed a bill and the President signed it into law, which criminalized same-sex relationships. Unless the National Assembly passes a new bill to change this law and the President signs it into law, same-sex relationships in Nigeria will remain illegal. So I think Bashir is trying to make clarity with regards to existing laws in Nigeria and the treaty itself. So this means that whether the treaty has any provisions, for LGBT rights, for the promotion of LGBT rights or not, Bashir is explaining that that will not stand because of existing laws against LGBT rights. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. My name is Adi. I'm calling from London.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Adi. Very well. How's London this morning?
London is cool. It's raining here now.
All right, then. Well, you're in London, which means that the problem of whether to pass the LGBT law or not is a non-issue there. However, what's your take on this development back home?
My brother, if it is true, then that's a disaster for this government. No matter the goodness they do, this will override it. It's a satanic, I don't even know what to call it, idea to sign for 150 billion. Are they selling our right, our conscience in Nigeria for 150 billion? I doubt it, if it is true. I wanted to do investigative journalism about this issue. Because here in UK, like you said, it's no longer news. Even they pass a law, sometimes they go in Manchester, Birmingham, populated by Muslims. They demonstrate, the Muslim people, they demonstrate because they say they are going to be teaching their children from primary school that man to man, woman to woman, nothing bad in it. So they protested, but there's nothing they could do, minority. So they are going to be teaching those children that nothing bad in man to man, woman to woman. I mean, they're female to female. So it's a disaster. So please, all of you should rise up and make sure the president address us on this issue. It's a serious issue because of our children of tomorrow. For what is 150 billion, for God's sake? It's not even up to what one man embezzled allegedly in Nigeria. So what is 150 billion? Not to talk of others. So what are they going to do for us to sell our conscience? Every Nigerian should rise up against it. No religion supports it. So that's my view about it.
By virtue of the fact that you're currently in the UK, where gay rights and LGBT rights are being heavily promoted, perhaps you could give Nigerians a feel of what to expect. You've spoken a bit about teaching young children from elementary school up to maybe tertiary institution about the gay rights and promoting LGBT rights. That in some cases might be called indoctrination. However, what else should Nigerians expect to see, perhaps, if this stands?
All right. Now let me tell you now. If that is allowed in Nigeria, for example, in UK now, you can be in the supermarket, you are buying something, you see a man and a man kissing each other. You can't see anything. You see a female and female kissing each other, They hold themselves. You can't see anything because that is what the law says allowed. They can stand in the bus stop doing it. You can't see anything. Just be going. You put your sunglasses if it's sunny to cover up and pretend you are not seeing them. Or there's nothing you can do. That's what they do. But in the night, boss, when they go out in the night, some young guys who are against homosexual, they hurt them seriously. When they see them in the bus anywhere, they don't care to go to jail. They will hurt them, either a lady and lady kissing in the night. They do that, but in the daytime, everybody just be going, turn your face somewhere. So that's what we are going to expect in Nigeria. If that is allowed, can you imagine the insult? When you are going out and you see a guy and a guy kissing each other openly in Nigeria, it's a disaster. Please, it's a serious issue. We can't talk about it here openly. But in Africa, we still have our right to talk about it. In some states in America, it's not allowed. In some states in America, you can't practice that. Republicans are totally against it. So it's not a new thing. Please, trust TV. I trust you like your name. To trust you to investigate properly and take this matter up. Please, God bless Trust TV.
Amen.
God bless Nigeria.
Amen. And God bless you too, Mr. Adi. Thank you very much for the elaborate picture painting there for Nigerians to understand what might be in store, just in case any of the speculations, accusations, and counter-accusations holds any water. Yes, please continue to call in with your comments, your concerns, and your questions on the matter. I believe we have another caller. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Raymond calling from Benue State.
All right, Mr. Raymond from Benue. You go ahead with your contributions.
Yeah. The contribution I want to make to this issue is that we're aware that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because of this act. So for Nigeria to go into this kind of act just because of $108 billion is most, in fact, I understand how I'm going to pay. It's very, 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 very bad. It's a bad omen for this country. This is the beginning of our total destruction. May God open our eyes to see the impending doom and walk away from this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raymond. Raymond there from Benue State. He's praying to God to open the eyes of Nigerians to the realities as he has described is as probably an impending doom. Well, maybe not doom, but then again, like I said, these are all speculations, and the government is trying to make clarity, to make Nigerians understand. Yes, good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV? Else we might have to let you go. So, good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Your name and your location, please. Okay, so quick rules of engagement. Endeavor to turn down the volume of your TV set if you're calling into the program to contribute. If you don't do so, well, we might not be able to hear each other, like the interference we just experienced a few seconds ago. So please turn down the volume of your TV set while calling into the program to avoid any interference. If you're unable to do so, we might be unable to take your call, just so you know. So other responses from X says, this one from, let me get another one. So Bashir Ahmed has been responding and trying to provide as much clarification on the deal as possible. He went ahead to say Islam and Christianity are both vehemently against LGBT and its activities. Additionally, our more than 300 diverse cultures in this part of the world are equally opposed to it. There is no way the government will use any tactics to introduce this satanic ideology into our society. It is against our morality. So we have another caller now. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name and where are you calling from? Can you please turn down the volume of your TV set, else we might have to let you go. Good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name and your location, please.
I'm Ibrahim from Kaduna State.
All right, Ibrahim from Kaduna, please proceed with your contribution.
Yes, it's quite unfortunate that we are seeing this kind of evil kind of bill and which they have signed without the consent of Nigeria. This issue has been lingering for a long time. If you look at it, during Jonathan regime, such issue came up, and then, of course, the government refused. Nobody assented to that kind of bill. The government of Jonathan refused and didn't sign that bill. And I remember very well, even when Buhari came in, he was tempted to also sign the bill. So now, how can tinubu, who has the antecedent? There was a time I was talking about, I think somebody was asking me a question. Okay, it was not here, it should be Spectrum TV. That what is it that can we do to know the right government that we able to salvage the country's situation? You see, you look at people antecedent. I am not calling it because I know the rules and engagement for this program. This man, somebody have indicted him before. He's a drug addict, and not signing drug addict and LGBT. Are they not related? These are immorality. So for him to assent to sign this bill, that shows there's a question mark. There's a question mark in this government. Moreover, they say the attitude and the quality of a person depends on who you are. The antecedent of our government shows they are evil. No any right-thinking man will sign that kind of bill. What moral value do you want to give for our young ones? What moral value? It is very, very uncalled for that we are passing through this problem. Look at the major thing they were supposed to address. Hunger in the night, which is going to escalate to something different. I am not calling, but I have seen doom coming to Nigeria. Because a hungry man is an angry man. It will come to a stage now that there will be war in this country. People are hungry, and you are signing bill of gay, lesbianism, gay. Then
well, it's not a bill per se. Ibrahim, it's not a bill, it's an agreement. It's an agreement that the government is saying does not contain some of these contentious clauses that Nigerians are claiming and some other CSOs are claiming it to contain. So
it contains, of course. I've just checked the meaning. That is it. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender.
Okay.
There's nothing like right of this thing. No right to it. This bill should not be signed. I've said before.
Your advice to the government is that we shouldn't go by signing this agreement.
Okay, it has not been signed, isn't it?
No, I said your advice to the government is for it to pull out of signing the agreement.
Oh, I thought they have already signed it. If
yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm asking whether your advice to the government is for it to rescind its signature because it has already signed it.
It should not be heard of. It should not be heard of, not to even to the advice. It should not be heard of. No right-thinking person should even think of that. It shouldn't be heard of. I've just given you a breakdown of what they have tempted the past government to do. And all of them declined to it. Why should this government bring that kind of bill?
All right.
Let's face reality. What is the moral value are they giving to the younger ones? Sometimes I said that the old ones cannot even lead this country. We should give room for the young ones. Because not any right-thinking man will do this. The young ones, in fact, this old heart. Sorry to use this word. Old heart that are ruling our country is too much.
All right. I beg that you please leave it at this. As I thank you for your contributions, I can see that you're getting quite agitated, as regards the topic.
Okay.
But let's just hope that, yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. All the way from Kaduna there. Thank you so much for the call and the contribution. Ibrahim is getting agitated because he feels like, well, this agreement is of no moral value to Nigerians. So it shouldn't get to a point where, hunger should be the decisive factor for taking such decisions. But then again, he says, Nigerians are hungry and the government is talking about signing a bill that promotes LGBT rights in Nigeria. So he feels like it's a case of maybe misplaced priorities for the government. However, the government has, maintained that it has stuck to the trade and developmental components of the Samoa Agreement, and in the 103, provisions and clauses in the agreement, there was never a part of the agreement that mentioned anything about the promotion of gay rights and LGBT rights. Now back to Bashir's, explanation on X. He says, return to the question: when the National Assembly passes a bill allowing LGBT activities in Nigeria and the president signs it into law. This is in response to Ibrahim, who says, alas, the president you voted with your own thumb, Bashir Ahmed, wants to enact a law that would protect the LGBTQ just because of a loan which 40% of it will go to the individual's pockets. And Bashir explains further that signing a mere deal cannot legalize LGBTQ whatever in relationships in Nigeria. And he mentioned that in 2014, the National Assembly passed a bill and the president signed it into law, President Goodluck Jonathan, I believe at the time, which criminalized same-sex relationships. He says unless the National Assembly passes a new bill to change this law and the president signs it into law, same-sex relationships in Nigeria will remain illegal. So now the question of whether signing the Samoan Agreement is going to lead to a promotion of the rights of LGBTQ, might be a non-issue at this point, owing to the explanation provided by Bashir. Then also, the federal government had also explained that, Nigerians might be getting it wrong. They never signed any deal imposing the promotion of LGBT rights, LGBT education, and also the indoctrination of such on Nigerians. The federal minister of budget and planning, economic planning, Atiku Bagudu, through his spokesperson, had explained that Mr. Sonny Ekwosi from the African Bar Association, I think, who first raised alarm on this development, might have, quoted out of context the provision of sections 2.5 and 29.5 as provided. However, others had reacted. Now I'm going to read out what the National Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs had said. It says, when contacted, they said their position on same-sex marriage and LGBTQ remains unchanged. They also said that though they were invited to attend the meeting in March, it was not for them to ratify or oppose the draft shared with them. They explained that the 403-page documents containing 104 articles was given to the legal director of the council, and that there was no same-sex marriage in the draft. They also said that they would not welcome such agreement, and their stance remains the same since the administration of the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. They cannot agree to what is against the injunction of our Creator Allah on this matter, and which also disrespects Nigeria's sovereignty, they explained. Now, the National Assembly had also, especially the House of Representatives, had also explained that they did not discuss, nor was any issue regarding the Samoa Agreement brought before the National Assembly for consideration. And, while responding to this, the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Treaties, Protocols and Agreement, Representative Rabiu Yusuf, said to the best of his knowledge, nothing has happened in the National Assembly regarding the Samoa Agreement. So the question of whether Nigerians might be overreacting to this development comes to bear. So perhaps Nigerians are worried that some of these tendencies, because of culture, tradition, and of course religious provisions, would not want this to stand, and maybe this is an overreaction. Perhaps there is no provisions promoting the rights of lesbian, gay, and transgender tendencies in Nigerians. Well, I do not have a copy of the draft, neither do I know the provisions. I've not seen the provisions yet. I tried, searching for it, but then again, it is left to be seen what pans out in the coming days, weeks, as legal representatives, I mean, talking about persons with understanding of legal jurisprudence, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders, go on to ponder upon this discussion and also to scrutinize the provisions of the Samoa Agreement, just to get out the meat and, of course, the facts. So, as for Nigerians, to finally put this conversation to rest, whether the federal government has signed an agreement that is promoting LGBT tendencies or whether Nigerians are reacting. Only time will tell. However, we have some reactions from WhatsApp, which I'll be reading to you right now. This one says, why are Africans making us low? President Goodluck Jonathan passed the anti-LGBT law. So why this now? We accept GMO seeds despite its harmfulness. Is Dangote, Otedola, Adenuga, Arthur Eze not richer than this chicken feed? Why are the Western world not doing the same to the Arab nations, but only Africans? That's questions upon questions there. Do we have another response? Perhaps we do, but the producer says, well, we don't have any responses. However, we're waiting for you, our callers, to continue to call in to share your thoughts, your comments on these developments, as some Nigerians have continued to react, calling on the government to rescind its signature on the Samoan Agreement. Good morning, welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name and your location, please.
The name is Josiah Kaduna from Niger State.
All right, Mr. Joseph from Niger, let's hear your contributions.
I don't support that kind of a thing. That is what we need now. We need attention on insecurity. We need attention on health services. We need attention on our roads. We need attention from our schools, and not signing bills that do not add anything to our morality. That shouldn't come from leaders, and I don't know the crop of leaders that we have. There is a president in this country, there are ministers, there are legislators, both the National Assembly, State House of Assembly. So how can a thing like this come up in a nation like Nigeria? Culturally, morality will not even allow this kind of thing, not to talk of a country like Nigeria. Religiously, this cannot go. And I don't support that at all. So whether it has been brought to National Assembly or not is not the issue like somebody is trying to claim. In Nigeria, when you hear them defend things like that, it means something is actually coming up. Nigerians cannot just bring something on the ear that they don't know. So please, we will need the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Representatives, the various state houses of assembly also. Whatever it is, this issue should be investigated. We Nigerians don't need that now. Attention should be given to our welfare. No. We are talking about whether living salary or wage salary or whatever and all that, and you are talking about LGBT or whatever they call it. Please, attention should be given to security issues, and let us have the peace we used to enjoy as Nigerians before, where everybody was free to move anywhere, anytime, do whatever he wants. If we get that kind of peace and comfort, Nigeria will move forward. It is not in signing all these or not signing. Please, my submission is, I am not in support. I am a pastor. And I wouldn't support, and I do not think any Islamic cleric would also support that kind of thing. No. We shouldn't even be thinking about it. We should be thinking wider and deeper on what will get us forward. No. Not what will help us. No. Just copy a world that is not ours. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for the call there. The pastor says he calls all the way from Niger State for focus to be beamed on other sectors. Tackling insecurity, well, there's hunger in the land, like he said. There are other issues that are begging for attention from the government rather than signing a treaty. But that agreement comes with $150 billion clause that Nigeria will be getting. So the question of whether this is enough and whether it's worth Nigeria's morality is what I believe is causing all of the fuss. But then we have another caller. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name and your location? And the technical crew says we have lost that caller.
Hello?
And we have another caller once again. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. Your name and your location, please. Hello, good morning. And unfortunately, we lost that one as well. So, speaking with the Daily Trust, however, a coalition of some African CSOs says that it will be a huge disappointment for Nigeria. However, we have another caller. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. Your name and your location.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your name and your location. Welcome to the program.
My name is Dr. Liko from ABU Zaria.
Unfortunately, I didn't get your name. Can you say that again, please?
My name is Dr. Liko.
Okay, Dr. Yuko from ABU Zaria.
Liko, Likko, L-I-K-K-O. Liko.
Okay, Liko,
Yes.
Dr. Liko from the ABU Zaria. Welcome to the
Yes.
program. Please proceed with your contribution.
Thank you. My contribution is that all these issues of LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights, the federal government of Nigeria has to be very careful with respect to the, how they are provocating Nigerians. The basic needs of Nigerians has not been provided. Common water is a problem. Much less of, issues of, food, social well-being. Not quite long, they changed the national anthem while people are hungry, and now they are smuggling something which Nigerians have rejected during the time of Jonathan. We have to be very careful. We have to be very careful. All these, social conditions that are very, stringent, is pushing our youth to all this form of armed banditry, insurgency, because the state is not providing anything for you. It's not providing anything for you. So how do you expect somebody to be patriotic when your basic rights is deprived and what you dislike must? Our two major religions, the Christianity and Islam, have condemned this LGBT long ago. So how could they smuggle it? I have heard the spokesman of the president denying it. Let them show the terms, of that agreement, so that people will get to know. There's nothing to hide, please. We have to be very careful. We have to be very sensitive to the plight of our citizens, or else the worst will continue to happen as we are in now.
All right,
people are hungry. People, are thinking of what to do, how to survive.
Indeed.
Dr.
Liko, thank you very much for the contributions there and submissions. Dr. Liko called all the way from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, my alma mater. It's good to hear that persons are calling and, of course, watching Trust TV all the way at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Moving on now, Barrister Richard Kakito, a Kenyan lawyer with Family Watch International Africa region, had explained that Africa was counting on Nigeria, and when it decided not to sign the Samoa Agreement initially, it bore some form of hope. He says many African countries, people of goodwill, are hoping that Nigeria will remain in that situation of not signing and probably even withdrawing from the Samoa Agreement totally. However, we have received information that on the 28th day of June, the ambassador of Nigeria in Brussels was given a go-ahead, but we don't know who signed the Samoa Agreement. As a result, Nigeria has committed itself to the human rights agenda of the European Union that involves mainstreaming of sexual and reproductive health and rights, among others. We have another caller now. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Shetima Yakudima.
Shetima, I believe you're calling from Maiduguri.
Calling from Maiduguri, that's right.
Indeed, a regular caller, Shetima, you are. Welcome to the program. Please proceed with your contributions.
Thank you very much. You see, honestly speaking, this bill come as a surprise to all Nigerians.
So it's not a bill,
Because
Shetima. It's an agreement.
this is
it's an
a religious nation.
Shetima, can you hear me?
Predominantly Christians and the Muslims.
Okay.
And we are surprised these bills come from Muslim ticket government. So it's against our both religion, Islam and Christianity. You see, I was worried because Almighty Allah will not be happy with the whole Nigeria if this bill had been passed into law. You see, even in the society of animals, this thing cannot be a welcome development. So I think government is supposed to think and do something fast about this bill. That's my contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shetima. But for the sake of clarity, it is not a bill of the National Assembly. Neither is it a bill that's on the floor of the National Assembly for passage. The Samoa Agreement is an international treaty, an international agreement that was signed on the 15th of November 2023 in Samoa. It got the name the Samoa Agreement because that is where it happened. So it's not a bill, more or less, of the National Assembly. It is an international agreement, just for the sake of clarity. So moving on now, speaking on the development, the spokesperson, so just before I say that, I believe we have, okay, unfortunately, we lost that caller as well. So providing some clarity, the spokesperson, a media aide of the Minister of Budget, says the article does not represent the content of the Samoa Agreement signed by Nigeria. He provided some explanation to Article 2.5 and 29.5 that has been causing all of the fuss. And he said Article 2.5 and 29.5 cited made no mention of LGBT rights, but rather 29.5 guarantees support for universal access to sexual and reproductive health commodities and healthcare services. And now we have another caller. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Your name and your location.
I'm Tolani Shoyombo.
Fisayo Shoyombo?
From Ogun State.
Sorry, I didn't get your name. Can you please say it again?
Tolani.
Okay. Tolani Shoyombo from Ogun State.
Yes.
Please proceed with your contributions.
Yes. Please, I want to add my voice to the discussion.
Please do.
Yeah, I understand with you, the moderator.
All right.
Because there is one of their caller was taking the matter too personal. Calling our leader, drug addict, old man, you cannot correct him.
Yes, indeed. My sincere apologies for that. He said so, and he corrected himself right after he did that, with no offense.
I think you should go to moderator and correct him.
I'm going to put out a disclaimer now, Tolani. My apologies, and of course, this should be sort of a caution to our callers. Yes, indeed. Proceed.
Okay. I think we should be objective when we are contributing.
Indeed.
Because this situation, they are watching in Alaska.
Definitely. Proceed, Tolani. I can hear you.
Yes, you should be international and should be continental in our reportage.
Definitely.
So, as far as this issue is concerned, I'm totally against it. I don't know about it. I think I read this today for your
Unfortunately, Tolani, we can barely make out what you're saying. Can you please repeat your statement?
Okay. I said this very agreement. I read before your paper.
Yes.
The trust.
Yes.
The trust paper. Yeah, I read this today.
Indeed.
So why should I be doing the paper without the National Assembly? Who's the secret behind it?
Okay.
So I think as a person, I condemn in totality. I'm not agree. I don't support it.
Okay.
Because why? During Jonathan time, it was going to the National Assembly. They rejected. They could reject it in totality. Why should they bring it from the back door into the country? Because $150 billion. If Nigeria not mentioned the $100 billion, I think I wasn't ideology to us. We want to think foreign ideas to us. We should obey them. IMF will take, no World Bank will attend. I think it's time Nigeria to stand and know what to do and take our decision by ourselves. We should not allow our international community to give their own ideas. We also their own ideas. Our own ideas even better than own. Okay. Because I think we're people and I think our people were more reasonable than them.
So Tolani, you're advising the government to refrain from taking advice from the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and also international NGOs.
Of course.
All right. Then. Of course. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your contribution, Tolani, on the program.
Thank you.
Yes. Right. So Tolani also does not support the signing of the Samoan agreement, and he went further to call on the federal government to desist from taking advices from International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Unfortunately, that wraps up the Daybreak Interactive segment. It's been a lovely conversation, getting comments, concerns, contributions from you, our viewers, who called in to the program to share your thoughts on the developments. Join us again next week for another round of interactions and contributions on developments affecting Nigeria.